Hi, welcome to the Come Off Conqueror show. I'm your host, Bonnie Randall. Welcome to day 2 of the Self-Love Challenge. If you missed day 1, the link is down below. Go ahead and check out that video. Now, remember, our 5-day self-love challenge is all about learning how to love ourselves and learning tools and resources and things like that to help us learn this skill. I believe that self-love is a skill, self-esteem and self-confidence and learning to think positively about yourself. All those things are learned skill. Those are things that we can develop. I don't think that they necessarily come naturally to all of us, especially to someone who's dealing with mental health like depression and anxiety and bipolar and things like that. Mental health and self-love, can be hard things to develop. So day 1, we talked about nourishing yourself and prioritizing self-care as a tool to start to develop self-love and learning that self-care is not selfish, but instead it's a way to fill your love cup so that if you feel good about yourself, you can therefore feel good and love others, right? We're commanded to love our neighbors, right? And that's really hard to do when you don't feel good about yourself. A lot of people, when they don't feel good about themselves, put down other people, right? We know that about bullies and trolls on the internet and stuff like that. Those people are really struggling with their own sense of self-will. They want to drag people down. So we can combat that by feeling good about ourselves. If we have confidence in ourselves, we want to build up other people. We know that if someone else is really good at something, we feel secure in ourselves that them being good with something doesn't threaten our self-worth. Does that make sense? So like, let's say my friend's really, really good at singing. I can be proud of her and happy that she's really good at singing without feeling bad that I'm not a good singer. Does that make sense? And you only get that kind of self-confidence if you have self-love. So day 2, what is day 2 about? Day 2 is about positive affirmations and thinking positively about yourself. And we're going to learn how to do that today. So without further ado, let's jump into day 2. All right, day 2, positive affirmations and thinking positively about yourself and learning how to spin those negative thoughts and turn them into positive thoughts, rewiring your brain. You've probably heard about this concept of rewiring and retraining your brain to think positively. And you've probably thought, yeah, how do I do that? Right? It sounds really complicated. It sounds like it'd be really hard to do. Well, it's not super easy. I'm not going to lie to you, but it is doable. Before we jump into how to do that, I want to illustrate this point and why this is so important with the story of the ugly duckling. Do you remember the story of the ugly duckling growing up? This little duck is born, or this little swan is born into a duck family, right? But he doesn't know at the time who he is and what he is. But he's born to this mother duck who finds her this egg on her nest, and he hatches with all the other little baby ducks, and he doesn't look like all the other baby ducks. The rest of them are all cute and yellow and fluffy, and he's this grayish brownish color, and they all tease him and make fun of him and say that he is the ugly duckling. Well, he grows up believing that he is the ugly duckling of this family. One day he runs away from home and he finds these 2 beautiful, majestic white birds have these long, beautiful necks, and they're so, what's the word I'm looking? Graceful and beautiful. And he thinks, wow, I want to be a majestic bird like these birds. He sees them fly away and he gets all sad and he's lonely and he gets really cold at night. And a farmer finds him and brings him home. I want to read to you what the farmer says in one version of the story I found. Here it is. Hold on, let me find it. The farmer cared for the ugly duckling. Then spring came, and the tips of the green covered the trees, and the short, bright flowers popped up from the ground. It is time for you to go to the lake to swim again, as you were born to do, said the farmer. He took the duckling back to the lake where he had found him and set him with care on the water. Gosh, I feel strong, said the young bird, flapping his wings. Why, I never felt as strong as I do right now. And then he heard splashing sounds behind him, and he turned around, and a flock of those same beautiful birds he had seen in the sky before landed behind him on the water. Don't worry, he said to them, holding out a wing. I'll go now, I'll go. I won't make trouble for you. And a big fat tear rolled down his cheek. He turned to go away, and when his own eyes opened, he saw a reflection in the water of one of those beautiful white birds. Why was it so close to him? He jumped back, and the reflection jumped back too. What is this? He said. He stretched his neck, and the reflection of the beautiful bird stretched its neck too. Why are you going so soon? Said one of the beautiful birds. Stay here with us, said another. We'll be great friends. Then the bird, who used to be the ugly duckling, knew what had happened. He was no longer an ugly gray bird that wobbled when it walked. At that moment, all the swans flapped their wings and took off into the sky. Come with us, one called. Take the lead. So he flapped his wings fast, and he took his place in front of the whole flock. And all his new friends flapped their wings behind him. And now he realized he was a swan. I love the story of the ugly duckling because it illustrates how negative thoughts and negative influences can impact our thoughts, right? He was told all his life that he was ugly, and he was told that he wasn't worthy to be the friends with all the little ducks. And so he believed that, and he internalized it. But then one day, when he grew into himself and he became who he was supposed to be, he realized that he was this graceful, beautiful, majestic bird, and he had worth. And it helped that this farmer helped cultivate that. We can be farmers for other people, right? We can help build each other up and help rewire people's brains. And we can do that for ourselves. We can be our own farmer. So rewiring negative thoughts and how that works. I want to pull up here. I'm going to share my screen and share with you a couple of articles. Okay, so here is this article from Healthline, okay? It talks about how rewiring works and why it works. It's something called neuroplasticity, okay? It's your brain's ability to change and learn, right? It's your brain's ability to learn. That's how we learn how to play softball or how we learn to write, whatever, right? It's the ability. But your brain, as this says, sometimes gets a little mixed up on the difference between reality and imagination, which can be surprisingly useful. So this is why things like triggers and stuff like that can happen, because those triggers turn on your imagination, and it turns up your imagination. Your imagination believes all of a sudden that it's back and that abusive moment. That's how why it seems so real, because your brain can't tell the difference between real and not real. So it can be used for bad, like being triggered, and it can also be used for good. So this is why, like, if you've ever been on a team sport or done any sort of sports, they tell you to visualize something, right? See in your head, see yourself shooting the basketball and it going in, and you do these visualization exercises. Well, that same idea is behind affirmations and why they work. So I love that here it says, that regular repetition of affirming statements about yourself can encourage your brain to take those positive affirmations as fact. When you truly believe you can do something, your actions often follow. And I love that it also says that just saying something is not enough. You need to also act. So this says right here, repetition of an affirmation can boost your motivation and confidence, but you still have to take some action on yourself. Try thinking of affirmations as a step toward change, not the change itself. So think of this as this is going to be a tool that you're going to use to rewire and retrain your brain to think positively about yourself. And as you think, you will also do things that work. So let me tell you a little story about how this works and why this works. When I was selling Isagenix a number of years ago, I had a coach, a trainer who taught us to write in a journal, write in a notebook every single day what your goals were and write them in the present tense. So I would write, today is June 14th. Today is June 14th and I weigh 125 pounds. That was my goal, right? That's my goal now, is to weigh 125 pounds. So I would repeat to myself, today is June 24th and I am 125 pounds. Well, if I say that 10 times and I say it with emotion and like I'm really believing it, then what happens is my subconscious goes to work, and all of my decisions and my actions through the day will support that belief. Well, in order to become 125 pounds, I need to lose 20 pounds. And in order to do that, I need to eat right, drink lots of water, exercise, do all the things, right, that you know you need to do to lose weight, because that was my goal. So another goal was, let's say your goal is to run a 5K. Then you say, today is June 14th, and I can run a 5K in 45 minutes. I have no idea. What's a 5K? 45 minutes is probably really fast for me. So I'm just going to say 45 minutes. And so I say that. So what does that mean? If I say it 10 times, it's my subconscious then goes to work and I do things that will help reinforce that belief and help make that goal a reality, right? And so I'll do things like practice, right? Running. I'll do things like cross training, work on my leg strength and work on my heart endurance and things like that. Okay. So that's how, so in order to make a positive affirmation work, there's a few things that you have to do. One, you have to recite your affirmation every single day, in the beginning and at the end of the day. And I know it feels cheesy to do this. Trust me, the first few times I did it, I thought, this is hokey. I cannot believe I'm doing this. Staring at myself in the face. I didn't believe what I was saying, but I was trying. And so that's another one. It has to be something that can be believable. You might not believe it right in that moment, but it's something that could be believable. So for example, you can't use an affirmation that says something like, I am a monkey. I'm not physically ever going to be able to change from a human to a monkey. So that's not believable, right? My subconscious would never believe that. But I could say something like, I am goofy, or I am funny, right? That could be my affirmation. Or I am loved, I am beautiful, I am special, I am important, I have worth. All of these positive affirmations, whatever you want to say about yourself that you really want to believe, that's going to be your positive affirmation. Okay. You really want to say it with emotion, because when it becomes real to your brain is when you click in that imagination and you click in that emotion. It makes it powerful and it makes it stick to your subconscious brain. Okay. So you're going to say it with emotion. I am loved. I am beautiful. I am special. People love me. Whatever it is, you're going to say it with emotion and conviction, and you're really going to say it strong. There's a funny YouTube video of a guy who I actually know, him doing his daughter. I should link to it because it's like the cutest thing in the world. Maybe he'll even give me permission. So we'll see. I'll ask afterwards. And if right now I'm playing the clip, then you know that I got permission. But it's him showing him and his daughter in the mirror, or his son, and he's saying something like, I am strong, I am important. And he does these cute affirmations with his toddler. It is the cutest thing in the world. His video went viral and it's just super cute. Anyway, but that's how you got to do it. You got to do it with strong emotion. Okay. And you're going to repeat it 10 times. Okay. This really only takes like a minute in the morning, a minute in the afternoon, depending on how many affirmations you have. Okay. And you got to be consistent and you got to be patient. This is not going to happen overnight. It's not quick. It's not super quick, but it does eventually happen. I remember, seeing the proof in the pudding of a couple weeks later, it was amazing to see. And then you're going to do things to help reinforce those beliefs. Okay. And you're not going to put yourself down. So now we're going to learn how to rewire your negative thinking and how to turn it around. Right. So you've got your positive affirmations. That's one way. And then the other way is you're going to, whenever a negative thought comes into your mind, oh, I'm so ugly, you're going to stop yourself and you're going to repeat your affirmation. I am beautiful, or I am handsome if you're a man, right? Or whatever you identify with, whatever. But you're going to flip it, right? You're going to say the opposite of whatever the negative thought is. So you're going to say, let's say the thought is, I am dumb. And you're going to say, no, that is not true. And that is not helpful. And that is not of God. Satan, leave me alone. And then you're going to say, I am smart. God made me smart. I can figure this out. So let's say the situation is you messed up on something. Okay. Let's say, I don't know, whatever it is, you made a mistake. And so you say, oh, I'm dumb. And then you say, no, I am not dumb. That is not true. I am smart. God made me capable of figuring this out. I might make mistakes, but I can fix my mistakes. And you turn it around, right? So what you're doing is you are literally retraining your brain and making a new neural pathway. Because what happens is when you get stuck in these negative thought patterns, is that is where you've been, right? So it is the track that your thought train has taken for years and years and years. It just automatically goes down that train track, right? So what you're doing is you are stopping that train, you're putting it on a new track down a positive thought way. Does that make sense? You're literally creating a new pathway, and you have to do that as quick as you can right after you say that negative thought. Okay. This is a trick that a therapist taught me, a licensed therapist. My life coach also taught me about it as well. I've heard this trick, I don't even know how many times. Okay. So you're literally stopping yourself and thinking of the opposite as much as you can. You're flipping it. Right. And sometimes that's really hard to do. So let's say you are in a really bad spot. Okay. Being able to just think of the opposite and think of the flipping it can be really, really hard. What do you do in those moments when you are just stuck in this really low moment and you can't even think of something positive? What do you do then? I'm going to teach you another trick that I learned from my friend Kim. She does Joytageous. Okay. She created this Joytageous program, and she taught me something that is very powerful. Her program is incredible. Everybody should do it. I love it. She taught it to herself because she was bipolar, and she was really, really struggling for years and years and years. And after she learned these tools, I'm not going to teach you everything because that would be taking away from her program. But after she learned these tools, she was able to stop having suicide ideation. And she's now in a much, much healthier place. It's really incredible. And she's helped a lot of people, myself included. So I'm going to tell you what she taught me, and I'm going to tell you my spin on it. Okay. So I was taught that when you're in those really, really bad moments, that is the time when you just need comfort. You can't think clearly. You might be in a panic attack, or you might be just in a really depressed state. You can't think clearly. So what you need to do is reactivate your brain and reactivate your thinking, being able to just think. And what you need in that moment is comfort, right? So if you feel better, then you can activate your brain and then you can think again. But in that moment, you just need comfort. You need to feel better. So do something that brings you comfort. So for me, I go to my closet. I have a closet, and I turn on a conference talks, LDS conference talks, and I listen to different talks on depression and mental health and feeling God's love. Or I will turn on a song, a Christian song that I love, When the Rain Comes by Third Day, or Better Than a Hallelujah by Mercy River. There's a bunch of different things. Maybe Rescue by Lauren Daigle, just different things to help lift my spirits and feel comfort. And I also pray. I always say a prayer, and I ask for Heavenly Father to help me. and to cast away those evil demons and the evil thoughts and the bad thoughts that I'm having, and to make me feel better. And you know what ends up happening? Within a couple of minutes, I feel so much better. The spirit will speak to me and say, you are loved, Bonnie. You are special. You are smart. I have a plan for you. And then I can start thinking and using my positive affirmations at that point. Okay. But you have to get to that point where your brain can turn back on. If you're having a panic attack, you can do that thing where it's I have another friend who is a doula, and she taught me to say, in this moment, in this space, I am safe. And I repeat that to myself several times. So that's a panic attack. That's different than just feeling really bad, right? A panic attack, I say, in this moment, in this space, I am safe. That only works if you're in a place where you can be safe, right? And I repeat that several times and do deep breathing. You've probably heard of the deep breathing where you go, right, and you do through your noses. I can't remember what it's called. It has a special name. It's a certain type of breathing. So if you don't remember to do this and you do that special type of breathing, just do deep breaths. Right? And the breathing helps bring oxygen to your brain. And oxygen in your brain allows you to think clearly, right? If you don't have oxygen, you literally cannot think, right? And that causes panic. So you have to do deep breaths with some of that, okay? So today we learned about creating positive affirmations, picking them, putting them on your phone, making them your what do you call a screensaver, putting it on the bathroom mirror, putting it in your car. Put these affirmations everywhere. Okay. Pick the ones that mean the most to you. You can pick 10, 5, whatever number you want. Okay. Start with a few, do it in the morning, do it at night. And then when you have a negative thought arise, we stop it and we say, no, this is not true. I am whatever the opposite is, right? And you let the spirit guide you and help you feel it. I promise if you do this over time, it will become natural. Now for me, it's a pretty natural thing. I used to have a lot of negative self-doubt and negative thoughts, and it was really hard to get out of those spirals. I haven't had a bad spiral in months using these techniques. It's miraculous. Now I'm at the point where when I do start feeling these negative thoughts come in, I can just think about the conference talk and think about the quotes that I love. I can think about my positive affirmation or say in my head the songs that I love. And just doing those things bring comfort like that. I don't even have to go to my comfort place. I can now just think about it and I have comfort. And then I can do my positive thinkings, and then I'm doing a lot better. So you guys figure out what works for you. I would love to hear what works for you and hear your thoughts and what your ideas are and how this is going. Please write in the comments. Because whatever works for you might work for somebody else, right? Because I share what works for me, but it might not work for you. And so I'm dying to hear what does work for you. Okay, day 2, positive affirmations and positive thinking and turning those negative thoughts around. And day 3, I'm super excited about you guys. I cannot wait to share you day 3. Day 3 is such a cool tool that, oh my gosh, it really, really, really works. Just like day 2 and day 1. Day 2 and day 1 really, really work too. But day 3, I'm super excited about because it's not just me and my story, but there's a really cool few stories that come along with day 3. So day 3, think about your wins. That's our hint for day 3. All right. See you guys later. Thank you so much for subscribing and for liking our page and or liking our channel. We really need to get up to 100 subscribers. So I hope that you will subscribe and you will help us build our channel, because you doing that is spreading the good love of God. You guys, I cannot do this ministry on my own. You guys are what builds it. And your influence and your support and you telling me what sort of videos you want to see. Like this self-love challenge came from a few of our members in our Facebook group asking this question, how do I learn to love myself? And that's where this whole week's coming from. So thank you to them for bringing it to us. It's been a really cool challenge to work on. I love you guys so much. Please join our Facebook group. Links down below. Okay, I think that's everything. I remembered to say it all, right? Okay, see you guys later. Bye.